Here is unit 1, which is about organization of files. Every unit have its own outcomes. The unit outcome for unit 1 is at the end of this unit, learners will be able to explain file, folder, and drive. At the other point, you have to manipulate file and folder. Means practically how to create a file, how to create folder, and how to modify, how to use it. This the already created file and folder. And the students explore drive on computer systems. There are variety of drivers. Knowing theoretically the computer drive, and at the last, practically using a computer or any digital device, knowing explore computer drivers. Again, if in the case of mobile devices or related digital devices, the students know to explore. These are the unit outcomes at the end of the unit. What about the unit overview here? It starts with unit overview. This unit introduces to file and file organization in computer systems. Best introduce to file and file organization. In the use of computer system, the students know how to organize file and related folders inside a computer system. A computer file can be both system generated and created or trans transferred from other sources into a computer. Any user can create a personal file using a computer digital device or any related digital device. The other way is the already created or generated files you can download from internet as a source, or we can receive from our colleagues or our friends using other drivers, or it can be using the technology like extender. You learn how to manipulate files, creating, copying, renaming, deleting, and searching. You learn how to process file after creating a file and folder, copying, duplicating in other case, renaming, changing the name of a file or folder, deleting, removing any unnecessary files from the computer system, and searching. How to search, retrieve a file that is stored in a specific drive, especially in a standalone computer, a computer without a network. How can we search and retrieve the already stored file or folder inside the system? It can be using a file name, or we can search using the extension name after dot. After dot is an extension name which can be 3 or 4 characters in Windows operating system. Therefore, it's possible to search also. A file folder is a mechanism to keep your computer files in an organized manner. It says a file. When we say file folder, it is a mechanism to keep your computer files in an organized manner. The chapter deals organization of files. Here is also the best solution or an answer for organization of how we organize our files by creating a folder or a container or a directory inside a system and putting or keeping a file under a folder or a directory or a container. It's possible to organize our files. Therefore, it says a file folder. A file folder, it is a mechanism to keep your computer files in an organized manner. Not only to keep our files in organized manner, it helps us to locate files easily. This unit will deal with folder manipulation mechanism that operating system provides. Here is the actual lesson 1.1 Basics of Files and Folders. Brainstorming. Have you ever visited your family's or association as a membership information? If so, how do they keep the membership information? Do you remember what information you were requested during your registration at your school? How do you think a school stored the information? These brainstorming questions remind you that there is a data processing method, which is a manual working system in a sense, using our brain, using our pen or pencil with paper, we can store and register any files. That shows that here the traditional working system of federated code. Comparing with automation systems or electronic systems that uses the computer storage drives that stores computer files and retrieve. What do you think are the limitations of using the above manual filling systems? Shell for filling cabinets based on filling system. Yes, of course. Based on the brainstorming question one, using the traditional way of our manual working systems, we can keep our data or information, then we'll keep under the file filling cabinets. Do you think computers are used to store such information? Yes, of course. It's possible. It's possible to change manual working systems or traditional working systems, or a file that is in the form of file cabinets can be transferred into electronic system or computer system, because there is a database software that helps us to store and manipulate our data inside the system that it can replace us. Nowadays, not only the traditional working systems in our village, it's possible to change also paper-based working systems by electronic systems, and there is a way to create paperless offices. Sorry. 1.1 files. What do you mean by file? A file, it is a collection of data stored in one unit, identified by file name. It says. When you say file, it is collection of data stored in one unit, identified by file name. When you say collection of data, data can be represented in number, data can be represented in letter, data can be stored, represented in picture. When we are capturing any picture using our mobile, it is a data. It is considered as a data. Data can be represented as a picture. When we are taking a notes using your pen, you are on the way to writing. It is the data. Any number, letters are data. Even though it is a traditional or manual working system, you are using data. In the case of computers, we are using electronic way, transferring into electronic or digital way. Therefore, when we say it is a file, it is a collection of data. It can be a collection of numbers and letters stored in one unit and saved as by a file name, and it is given by file name. And the file is created by using variety of softwares. It can be text-based, picture-based, audio-based, video-based, and other animation-based files. But every file has its own file name. When we create a picture, it's have a data, a collection of data, one representation of data, and it have its own name. That when we say a file, it is a collection of data stored in one unit and identified by file name. It can be says the file can be a document, the file can be picture, the file can be audio or video stream, data library, application, or other collection of data. Files are usually represented by an icon. How can we represent any files? A file can be a picture, it has its own icon. That is represented by an icon. A file can be a video, it has its own icon, and it is represented by an icon. And an application is its own icon. When we say an icon, it is a pictorial representation of a program, a file, a document. It can be also a folder. It is the pictorial representation. Because there are thousands of different file formats, different icons are used to help identify the type of files on program associated with. What does it mean here? The statement, when we interpret the statement, when we have a picture, it has its own format. It can be .jpg or .jpg. It can be 3 or 4 characters. It can be also BMP. A picture created in MS Paint have an extension name .bmp. When we create text-based files using Notepad program, it have .text. The same to others. When we have an audio file, it have .mp3. But typically we say mp3 by its dot or by extension name. It's not a file name. It is an extension name. It is indirectly a format for a file. Therefore, every format files have their own icons. A picture have their own icons. Audios have their own icons. The videos, the animations, and other type of files and programs have their own icons. Based on the formats, the icons also differs. Here in figure shows us one below. You can see different types of files on the desktop. Here are some icons. The recycle bin is have its own icon. This PC, it is represented by the name this PC and it have its own picture or icon. Again, the network is have a name, is have a pictorial representation which is an icon. The control panel is have its own icon, is have its own name. The work, here is an MS or document. Here, have a name. Again, the software has its own icon. The same to others. Here it shows you files, different command file icons in Windows 10 version. Key concepts. A file store a data which can be a document, picture, text, video, audio, etc. A file. For instance, when you use your mobile devices, when you use file or my file folder, when you open it, you will have a list of items in organized manner. Documents with document in organized manner. Pictures with picture. Text with text. Video with video. The same to audio and others. The programs also can be organized in a specific folder. That a file stores a data which can be a document, it can be a picture, text, video, audio, and the icons may vary. The other point or a key concept, a file has different icons in a computer. Yes, of course, it's obvious. We have seen before. 1.1.2 folders. The topic is about organization of files. How can we organize our files? This can be an answer here. Folders, it says. By creating folder or directory and putting or holding down our files or contents under this folder, we are on the way organizing our files. But before creating a folders, here is the term folders. A folder, also called a directory, says, is where a space used to store files, other folders, and shortcuts to a program on a computer, says. When you say folder, it is a synonym word for directory. What the difference between a folder and a directory? We have two technologies. Before the introduction of the fourth generation, people use only CLI technology, which is the command line interface. By using keyboard, it is possible to interact with the computer system. Only keyboard they used before 1971, before the fourth generation. But thanks to the technology, starting from the fourth generation, which is from 1971, people use Windows operating systems, which uses GUI technology, which represents the graphical user interface technology. In graphical user interface, we say it folder, the container, and in command line interface, on command prompt, the one that uses only keyboard, which is called a directory. In case of graphical user interface, the technology that uses mouse, it is folder. Therefore, inside any digital computer, it is possible to create a folder or a directory. Possible to create a folder using a mouse in Windows operating system, and it is possible to create a directory in command line interpreter, in command line prompt using keyboard only or commands. It may be difficult to understand for beginners because we have to use command texts or words. I'll demonstrate you later how to create both containers in Windows operating system and in command prompt practically. Is where a space, when you say a folder or directory, it says is a space used to store files, other folders, and shortcuts to a program on a computer. We are on the way to organize our files. We are on the way to manage our digital systems. If we use folders or directories, it is possible to make the digital devices user-friendly by creating and putting our files or the contents under a folder or a directory. A good analogy is the Manila folders or dossier seen in an office to store papers or reports. Just comparing here is the statement shows you to compare with traditional working systems, the one that uses paper working systems. A good analogy for to consist our papers is using dossier. It's possible to put our files in traditional way using dossier. Think about the difference between automation systems and traditional systems. If you want to retrieve a specific file or record, may take time. It may lose time. It may take time. We do not. It takes manpower. It is may be also costly in terms of materials. But using a computer digital device, by using a small space, we can put our files. Not only storing our files, it's possible to edit. Think about editing or modifying a data found in paper with that of comparing with that of a digital system or electronic systems. In case of electronic systems, possible to modify and to put our files. Not only modifying, it's also to put by giving a folder name inside a folder. A folder contained in another folder is a folder. Any file that is consisted under a folder, it is possible to modify easily. Think about the electronic system. Again, the container by itself. Possible to modify and edit the container. Comparing with the traditional working systems, may have additional Manila folders or dossiers to put our files, but in using modern working systems or electronic computer systems, possible to create other subfolders and put our files inside subfolders by giving a specific name. The difference between a file and a folder is that a file is a collection or group of interrelated data and information, whereas folder is a container used to store different files and subfolders. Here it shows you the difference between file and folder. They are not the same. They are different terms. When we say file, it is a collection of data stored in one unit and identified by file name. And whereas a folder is a container that helps us to put our files, shortcuts, programs, and other documents. We can have different types of files, such as text. In digital working systems, in digital computers, we have text-based files, we have video-based files, we have document-based files, we have image-based files, and each has different extensions. What does it mean? They have no only file name, they will have also extension name. Means after docs, there is a 3 or 4 characters that identifies one file format with the other. It helps us to identify one file format with the others. For instance, not a file created with Notepad have .text, a picture created with MS Paint .pmp. But on the other hand, folders never have extension names. They have only names. Means, in a sense, they are empty. After creating a folder, if we check it by using double click or right click, it's possible to open. It says folder is empty. We cannot type. There is no cursor there. It's not active. It's possible only to consist our files inside a container or folder. What the importance of folders? Here it shows you the organization of files. It is possible to put our files. Disturbed files may exist on the desktop or my document or in another drive or flash disk. It's possible to create a folder or container or directory and giving by simple name, and we can put our files inside the container. It shows you here. I'll demonstrate you in practical parts. Here it says you figure 1.3 is a cluttered file means disturbed files not in organized manner. When you come to B, organized files are put in a folder. What the importance of folders? Feed folders help to keep related files organized together as shown in figure 1.3b. Here as the above figure shows you files in organized manner using folder or a directory. This helps, therefore, the first importance is folders help to keep related files organized together. This helps us to locate files. If our files are organized, we can locate our files easily. For instance, the files that are stored under annual budget, it's possible to locate easily. If files related with roster, they are under roster folder that we can locate easily. The same to mark list and the same to IST files and other folders. Therefore, the second point, it helps us to locate file easily. If you have no folders on your computer, your documents, programs, and operating systems files will be located in the same place. Think about the folders that are stored under System C drive. The drive that consists of the operating system, which is the backbone of the computer system, is the operating system. It can be Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, or above version. They are stored under, by default, C drives. But the program files are stored in a specific folder. The users, the windows, and other contents are stored in organized manner. But if there is no folders, think about the operating system files. Our personal files will be in the place that we may confuse to use or to access or to interact with the digital system. Folders allow you to have more than one file with the same file name. The other purpose or usage is it's possible to have more than one file name. It's possible to give the same name and we can copy paste indirectly. It's possible to create different folders that we can put our files in different folders. For instance, you can have a file called myletter.doc in my document folder and another file called myletter.doc. What the extension name here? .doc. What the file name? Myletter. The same name, the same extension name, but there are two folders, my documents folder and letter collection folder. What does it mean? It is possible to create the same file in different folders. For instance, you can have a file called myletter.doc in my document folders allow you to have more than one file with the same file name. It allows you to have more than one file with the same file name. That's the importance. The same file name, my documents, myletter.doc, but it's possible to put in different folders. My documents folder and the second folder is letter collection. The same drive, but different folders, the same file names. It's possible to duplicate or it's possible to copy paste. And in general, it helps us or it allows you to have more than one file with the same file name. If all your files were in a single place, every file would need a unique file name. If your file were in a single place, need a unique file name. It's not possible to give a same name. If you have two files, they will have the unique names. It's not possible to give the same name in the same place. If it have a different extension name or format, it is possible to give the same name. But it's not possible to, if all your files were in a single place, every file would need a unique file name. For today, it's enough. Thank you. Try to support me by subscribing Until then, I will continue to the next portion, which is 1 to managing files and folders. Until then, thank you.